usually the opposition alleges as the state and the governing party using the powers of the police and the security agencies against their individuals. They cite the recent episode with the Senya East NPP Parliamentary candidate Koyo as an example. That
Francis, I will not let you finish.
Okay.
That's why we have the justice institutions. We say in law that no one is guilty until the court finds him so. Allow the process to work. In fact, in one of our meetings that we met in Kumasi after the 2020 elections, we met about 3 CIDs from various regions, and what they were telling us is that sometimes we sit at back and we lambast them. It's the same stakeholders who call upon them to free suspects when they are arrested. Allow the justice delivery institutions to work. The fact that they arrested your colleague and sent him to the headquarters does not mean the person is guilty. Don't go demonstrating, don't go destroying things. Let them be prosecuted. And if the judges say the person is free, he is free. Otherwise, it will sound as if some of us, we do not belong to any political party, who don't have any groups to support us. We always face the rigors of the law. When it becomes NPP, NDC, they have market to support them, so the people are afraid to prosecute them. That is not law enforcement. So it's not about NPP, NDC. Let's have trust and believe in the justice delivery institutions to do their work.
But does that also negate the concern that the powers of the state sometimes are abused by the governing parties?
Evidence of that? When every party is in opposition, they have problems with established institutions. Everybody, civil society, media, the judiciary, the police, everybody. Because we don't want the system to work. As soon as you, I think it's Kwekubako also, Kwekipras, he was saying, as soon as you are arrested, just find some party to affiliate yourself with, and you have some voices to back you. That's the establishment you're trying to face in the country. We don't allow systems to work. Somebody pulls gun. Somebody says something. For instance, this tape that's going around. Somebody says that if military people come to your illegal mining site, beat them. So if such a person is arrested, is it a political witch hunting? We should allow the system to work. Look, we are not faced with only internal security threats. We are surrounded by countries whose security are already deteriorating, and we face the imminent spillover in our country. So we need to be steadfast. We need to stand against the internal challenges so we don't create windows for any invasions. That's what we should think about. Rather than going near political connotations, what the president said was realized in 2019, as I said. Nothing has been done about it today. In fact, in 2020, just after a year after the 999 have been promulgated, 8 people died in the 2020 election. Nothing has been done up to date. What are you talking about? 8 people. I'm not even talking about thousands motorbike vehicles that were burnt. In Doma West alone, they burnt a pickup, they burnt 3 motorbikes, they burnt party office, including all the logistics in the office. Somebody's leg was almost amputated. None of the cases have been heard through courts. What are we talking about? These people who suffered this mayhem, their relatives and families are there. That's why I said electoral violence is cyclical. It's reprisals. People also are waiting to see what will happen. If Kwesi did, nothing happened to him. Why can't I do it? That's why we needed that law to serve as deterrent to some of these things.
And is that law proving to be a panacea, or it's been set aside and the wrong things are continuing?
I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it because of its lack of enforcement. I'm not seeing it because of lack of actions. I'm not seeing. You remember, we spoke when the Kechiman incident happened, especially the guy who snagged the ballot box. And I said this is a testimony to how well we can enforce the Act 999. Because when you go to the Act, unlike the criminal code, snatching of ballot box is taken as a high case. And the guy was going to get no less than 5 years. What did we see? A case was preferred against him from the criminal code, and he paid around 500 Ghana cedis or so. So what we say is not what we practice, Francis. Not until we become vigilant. We stick to the act that we tell to establish the cause of the increasing nature of vigilantes in Ghana. We are not going to see the end of this thing.
You mentioned it in passing, but I want your thoughts on that as well. The Amenfi East NPP Parliamentary candidate and the comment he makes about when a task force comes to attack these persons engaged in mining illegally, since they are committing an illegality, they also coming to attack them as an illegality, and so they must be faced with equal force. What do you make of this comment, and what actions do you expect to be taken in this regard?
Let's separate the two. The mining activities going on there, I don't have any document to show whether it's part of the community mining, illegal mining, or otherwise. So that needs to be investigated. And if it's illegality, then the people must be taken on that board. Two, the criminal aspect of the whole thing. Chasing a state official, whether military, police, or NASMO, whoever, to a filling station, chase him out of your sight to a filling station to machete the person. It's a pure criminal offense that must be dealt with as such. The third point is instigation of that violence by the MP. Look, I said in one...
He's actually a parliamentary candidate, not an MP.
Yeah, the parliamentary candidate. I said in another radio station yesterday that if I were NPP, I would not support the candidacy of this man. This is a person we are supposed to go and sit in parliament, a house that for the whole country. And that same person is the one who is protesting against the party official. What good is he going to make as parliament house?
So you want the party to withdraw his candidature?
Withdraw the candidate to support for this party if we really mean democracy, if we mean the institutionalization of the country. So if he becomes MP and he's facing security challenges in his constituency, is he going to call on state security to come and support him? Will he have the morality, the right to call on security agencies to come and support him? These are some of the fundamentals that we need to deal with. We need to start and set standards for our political parties. Who qualifies to represent us? I always say that there are people that call themselves honorable that do not deserve that title. They don't deserve that title, honorable. Who is honorable? If you go and say that you can instigate people, a state official, and you are aspiring to become a member of a house that makes law for us, and that house does not tolerate that, how do you fit in there? I said, if I were NPP, I would have issued a statement by now. But I haven't heard anything from the NPP fraternity. Not even a word. I just read about the military statements, and it carries volume. We have to be very careful. These are the same people we try to position in our borders so as to protect us from aggression from outside. And these are the same people we are calling on our people to kill them. How do we balance the two?
What about the regional minister who was present when these comments were made? He's the head of the Regional Security Council.
At first, I've said it. I said it calls for investigation, so we are separating the issues. We are separating the mining concerns, whether it's a community mining, legal mining or not. That one should be dealt with by the Minerals Commission, the Mines, Ministry of Mines, and let's find out what it is then. Because they claim the MP knows them, the MP should help us reach out the people. Secondly, the criminal aspect of it, the investigative department must deal with it. Then about these state officials who are getting involved, whether you are aspirant or whatever, you belong to a certain system, institutions must also deal with it.
All right. How would you, in the broader context, assess our fight against galamsey so far?
Failed.
Complete failure?
Failed. I wrote an article for Wilson Center, I think in 2017, and I just compared the state of our water bodies, three water bodies of Pra and other rivers from the previous 4 years to date. And if I should write the same article, it will be wet by now. Failed.
What must change?
Character, behavior, law enforcement, enforcing the sanction regimes without favoritism. The politics of patrimonialism, politics of clientelism must cease. And we should be serious as a country. This is what must change.
When the president said he was putting his presidency on the line, on hindsight, did it mean much?
Francis, the president alone cannot do anything. I always say that governance is a unified concept. Governance is an embodiment of the totality of the citizenry. You, the one who is supplying information, the one who is acting upon the information, and the one who is getting the distribution are all involved in the chain. If a chief sits in his corner and takes money from galamsey people to work, if a farmer sells his land to a galamseyer without the knowledge of the state, if DCE gets involved, it's a whole system that we must change. But at the top of it is law enforcement. Allow the people. I've heard people insinuating some issues to the beating of these soldiers that they occasionally visit the site to collect money. If that's the case, the armed forces, the police service, whoever personnel involved in the task force must also start investigating. So there are some of the things that we need. We can't leave the fight of governance and democracy to one person. It's a total fight that everybody must get involved. I was passing by a Chimota somewhere, and there was this pipe that has burst and people were fetching. I asked myself, somebody was asked, so who's the assembly member? Then I stopped and asked the woman, so do you know the water company office around here? He said, it's there. And you are waiting for the assembly member to go and tell them that you have a fault in your pipe. That is the behavior we have. So it's a total change of character, behavior, enforcement, and revamping of institutions. Not one person cannot do it. We need support from every corner. The chief who sits at his village just give out his land for somebody to do galamsey. Takes just VW car, take taxi, and they are spoiling whole water. Everybody must get involved.
All right. I know you recently returned from monitoring the South African elections. How did it go? And what are the key lessons to learn, both from the security standpoint and the politics, the partisan political standpoint?
If you ask me about the security and politics of South Africa compared to Ghana, I'll give South Africa 80% and give Ghana 50%. Look, South Africa has high crime rates. They have ghetto groups around all corners. They have snatchers, all sorts of crimes are there. But Francis, the politicians never involve themselves in these groups in their politics. Unlike Ghana, that people mobilizing these ghetto guys, vigilantes, as their bodyguards, it never happens in South Africa. So you have your normal environment crimes detached from politics. You will never monitor the South African elections and see attacks, some language that is not uncalled for. You don't hear that. You see South African security. Let me tell you, 5 cases were recorded. All the 5 cases were breaking in the IEC, the elections management bodies' warehouses. Some of them, they stole the scanners, others, they took out, I think, some ballot papers or so. Within the next 24 hours, all 4 cases, the culprits had been arrested. And quick, that's South Africa for you. In fact, we have National Election Security Task Force. They also have NAJOINT. It's the same thing. The NAJOINT has a coordination center that monitors all the 9 provinces at a time. So as far as security is concerned, yes, we can say South Africa has high crime rates. They have all the poverty indicators going high and other things. But those things are not imported into their political campaign. Even though we may have also some minuses that I can say, if we were to be Ghana here, like we'll be in vain. For instance, they don't have any proper resource collection system. Unlike we have the pink sheet that account for ballots from the morning to the evening. They don't have that. They have just the result slip. So how many people voted, they record it. They record it. No accounting to ensure that the ballot issued in the morning matches with the ballot votes. No accounting system. So if there's overvoting and undervoting as we use in a court system, when we go to court here, it doesn't happen there. So there are so many flaws. I said in my last briefing there that South Africa has had peaceful elections because the people are not critical of the process. But apart from that, you don't take anything away from them.
I see. Okay. We are 6 months away from the elections. What do you expect the 2 contenders to do in making this election issue-based and
violence
violence-free.
To be tension. Three factors set this election to be a tension election. And you know the first one, the unresolved electoral violence over the years. And the fact that in some of the constituencies, the other existing violence are getting into political connotation, chieftaincy, land litigation, all these things are being infiltrated by politicians. So this is one. And two, you've realized that at the end of 8 years for every ruling government, the opposition has some reinvigorated hope that it is 10. And that comes with its new preparations towards the election. So the opposition position itself that apart from win, nothing else will be accepted. And that message goes down to their supporters who also have that same zeal of expecting something positive at the end of the election. So every 2 terms of a ruling government brings on its own this tension. And that's what we are witnessing today. If you see the preparations, the resources that NDC is putting in, it's not comparable to what they did in 2020. So that itself brings on its own the tension. And the third factor is the mistrust of institutions who should support credible elections in the country. Almost every institution in the country has been discredited, especially by the opposition parties. The security agencies, the Election Security Task Force, the National Council, Peace Council, the Council of State Traditional Authorities, the Electoral Commission as well. So these are the three factors that make the election a bit tension. And if we are not careful and we don't stand the tide, as the president said yesterday, we are going to deploy, because if the person does not trust the security agencies, the next hope is using parasecurity to support it. That's where the problem starts from.
But on that point, what does the EC have to do to engender confidence?
The issue is, as I've said, the president has said we should enforce the Vigilantism Act. I expect the security agencies to do quick one on that. Try to make sure that any glimpses, just like what happens around the voter registration, speedy reaction. Let's arrest, quick prosecution, and publicize it to scare others. The only thing that we can stem the tide is to enforce the laws. Apart from that, people may think that, I remember in one of the chieftaincy violence in one of the Ashanti towns, I was there, and the police came in their pickups, like 3 pickups. One of them was shouting in a can, police assembly, to which it's traditional conflict, the chieftaincy conflict, also a police case. So people think that some of these conflicts are normal. It is our conflict. It's not a criminal issue. So if you don't let people know that all crimes are crimes, you are going to continue to do that.
All right. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Paul Abban. Sure.
Programs Officer for CDD Ghana joining us this morning. We'll pick one more perspective on these issues, and then we'll find out how things went down for Lord Kenya in Kumasi. There's also a fantastic event coming up this week that you should know everything about. Your ribs deserve to be properly taken care of this week. But in the meantime,
let's speak to Dr. Asante, Director, European Studies, University of Ghana, also Senior Political Science Lecturer. Good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Francis.
I trust you're well and keeping safe, sir.
I'm fine.
I'll start with the NPP's parliamentary candidate for Amenfi East, Ernest Frimpong. He has spoken about minors giving incentives to men in uniform of their own free will and choice. And then for those who come to attack them, they should be attacked back in equal measure. What do you make of these comments that he has made?
I think it's one of the reckless comments we have experienced in recent times. It shouldn't have come from somebody who really wants to serve the people. What is his intention? Does he want to attack the security? Want the youth to attack the security officials, or what? What is his intention? I mean, to all intents and purposes, this is no. You can say that. Even if you are not a leader, it should not come from the mouth of any human being in this country. This country is a country of laws, that no action should cross any legal lines. All right. If you undertake any business, remember that you should work within the framework of the law. If you go contrary to that, there are institutions charged with a mandate to apprehend you and hand you over to other appropriate authorities to handle you the way it ought to be. So if you see security people doing their work, there is absolutely no reason for you to attack them. You cannot do that. And it's against the law. You cannot incite violence against them. I mean, that is unthinkable, that you have somebody who wants to lead the people, and that's what you are telling the people to do against the state. Any attack against the military or any of the security apparatus is an attack against the state, an attack against all of us. So it must be condemned in all uncertain terms.
Should the party take any action against him?
Why not? This is an aberration. The party should not condone this. They should quickly come out. I don't know whether they've come out, but if they have not, then they should come out quickly, condemn that act, and then dissociate themselves from it. Because this is no.
If it's inciting, should he be picked up by the security services?
Oh, the institutions responsible for maintenance of peace in this country, they know what to do. They know what to do. So they should act promptly.
And if they don't?
They can't say they will not act. Why would they not act? They owe it a duty to this state. I mean, to defend this country at all times. So why would they know? They will act. I believe that.
This also comes within the broader context of how we're as a country dealing with the scourge of illegal mining in galamsey. What have you made of the fight in the last 7.5 years?
So I believe this country is not ready, especially those who hold political power in the state. They are not ready to fight the menace. Yes, it's only lip service. All right, because if you see the ravage that this activity is causing to society, the environment, the ecosystem, we should be doubling our efforts to make sure that this practice is nipped immediately. Because, look, we are joking with the system. We are joking with this menace. And look at how it is eroding arable lands. Look at how it is eroding the forest cover. Look at how it is devastating the cocoa industry, which is the mainstay of this country. In fact, the life wire of this country. Look at how it is affecting lives in terms of water bodies and its effect. Look at how renal problems have become just too common, and research has shown that some of these things are the way they are destroying the environment point to this fact. I mean, look at how a whole lot of issues are being created out of this. Look at how we are disturbing our neighbors with the water that flow from these areas to other places. Who knows that sooner than later they are going to even take us on? We don't know. And why do we sit down as if nothing is happening when we have voted a government into office, arm the government with all the resources there is to defend us and our property, and we will obey the government and support the government? Is that what we bargained for? That's unfair to us, and that's unfair to the government itself. I mean, let us remember that if we don't correct these things, a time will come we will not have any agriculture. A time will come we will not have any potable water to drink. A time will come we will not have the environment to live in. So it's a very difficult, problem we are facing, and we don't seem to be serious about it. price to pay. The day that you and I, you go to the washroom and you can't urinate, the day you and I, you are faced with what? Challenge of, renal issues and all that. That is the day that we'll realize that, look, we have harmed ourselves. I'm not praying for that. But the way we are going, we should be mindful of this, that, look, all is not well, and that we need to set up, right? When you gain all the wealth, you taking all the minerals from the soil wrongly and create problems, and you have all the resources, and you lose your life, what do you gain from this? This should serve as what? A caution to us, right? I'm just so surprised that this problem is on and gaining currency by the day. It is so painful.
The president yesterday at the launch of the Law House had occasion to mention that the state apparatus will ensure that nobody foments trouble and threatens the security of the country in the build-up to the 2024 elections. Does it lie with the president to ensure that, or the state by itself must provide an enabling and a peaceful atmosphere for this year's elections?
Security is a responsibility of all. It's not only government, you and I, and everybody who is in this country. When we destroy the state, all of us will not exist. When we protect the state, we will enjoy the good things that we have created for ourselves. So it's a collective responsibility. It is not a responsibility of one institution or body or one group of people or certain individuals. All of us. And we have people who are charged with the responsibility to do it. We need to give them all the support. And they also must act and act professionally and make sure that the dreams of the state is assured. So we owe it to ourselves to support all the efforts that will ensure that we live in peace. It is in our interest. It is not in the interest of any government or any individual that, I want to fight it and make sure that we have peace. All of us must work to ensure that there is peace.
Considering that the president is an interested party in this election, of course, in wishing that his successor would be his vice president, Dr. Bawumia, how much of his messaging between now and the end of his tenure should be weighed and measured? Or he is a man on his last half year and cannot be controlled?
So obviously, the president has not finished his mandate. So you can't push the president away. The flag bearer is doing something that is in line with the party dictates and tradition and the processes. Yes, but it doesn't take away the power of the president. Remember that the president has not finished his tenure. So we need to continue to administer and rule the state according to what he has in mind and what he has put forward in terms of what manifesto and then the promises that made to us. So people should not be expecting the president not to talk. I mean, when he feels that there's something to speak about, the president will always talk. The president will always act the way he has to, because he's still within his mandate to do that. Otherwise, then we are saying that he must abandon his duty for the vice. No, the vice has not assumed position yet. Let us not make a mistake about that. He's still the second in command. The president is in charge. So as for the president, he will continue to talk until a new government comes out next year after 7th January.
What should be the guide for each voter this year in who they choose to become the country's next president?
As for voter choices, put it this way, there are a number of factors that influence voters one way or the other. A few of them change, right? But mostly, you have the bulk of the factors remain unchanged, and they have a lot of influence on how voters decide to put people in office one way or the other, right? One of the factors is the economy, and it's that number one, irrespective of party ideology, party tradition, attachment to party tradition and whatnot. Voters consider the health of the economy, and out of which they vote one way or another. So it is the economy. When the fundamentals of the economy are weak, obviously voters will rise up against the government when they are voting, and they vote against the government because their very livelihood is threatened when the economy is not in good shape, and that they will always want a replacement and have a government that will be able to work to restore the health of the economy. So that's one. Another one is that if you look at our country, of course, a third world country, we have infrastructure deficits. Governments have come and gone. They've done their bit. But you realize that the problem still lingers on. So there is always the burning desire on the part of voters to get a leader who will come and then continue the infrastructure development and then take it to another level. And this is something that voters expect from any party that will want to really have power. And so infrastructure development, if you look at the Constitution, it said every part of this country to have its fair share. So when they assess and they don't get the fair share of that infrastructure development, obviously it is one way, one guide to their choice of who to lead them at a point in time. The issue of corruption is another, because of the effect that it has on governance and by extension on the welfare of people. So all the time, it is in part and parcel of voter choices. It is part and parcel of the decision of voters to see any party that has what it takes to fight corruption. And they are able to do this assessment looking at the party's record in the fight against corruption. And then they see the current situation, whether that party is in government, how is the party faring in its fight against corruption, out of which they decide to also express themselves in election along that line. Next to it is the issue of unemployment. We have various schools that train people and then churn out graduates every year. Where are they going to work? This has been a headache for this country, for families and homes, that they want somebody with what it takes to address this problem head on. They don't believe in lip service, where you scratch the surface and you allow the problem to fester. They want an elastic solution that will address the problem head on. So it is part of the calculations of voters in assessing who they want to give their vote to. And in this regard, they want to see a government or a party that has what it takes to address the problem. Practical ways of doing it. So it's one of the barometers they use to measure or they use to determine voter their choices. They use to determine their choices. That said, there are other factors such as the education itself, health, and whatnot. But having said this, these are the national standards that voters they use. But we have regional standards, that the region you find yourself, if there is something which is burning, which is critical, which is of importance to the people, that region regional consideration also comes in, right? So if there's a region and there is a problem, a particular problem, and it is not being adhered to, it's going to be part and parcel of voters, of the very things voters consider in what deciding who to give their vote to. Then we have what constituency-specific issues that voters also go into. They look at their constituency. What are the things they need, they desire, and they dream of? And these are the things that impinge on their minds and help them to decide in voting for one party or another. So these are some of the things that influence voter choices and all that. Constituency-specific issues are so critical. Remember, votes emanate from constituency. It's not at any national level. The constituency or all the votes, vote for parliamentary election, vote for presidential, they emanate from the. So the constituency is so critical, and that voters want to know what whether their government or the parties have what it takes to address their problems in their constituency. So constituency where, for instance, they don't have potable water, they expect any party which want to garner vote from that constituency to be able to tell them something relative to how to deal with the problem of potable water. If they don't have their farm produce are affected by pests and all that, they want you to be part of the agenda of that party, which is soliciting for votes and all that. So these are a wide range of issues that voters consider when they are voting. And of course, there are certain also national issues to, aside what I said, sometimes there are certain national issues. They don't come all the time, but they consider that one and also decide it. For instance, energy is gradually becoming a problem in this country. So it is something which is national in character. So voters also bring that thing in sharp focus in looking at who is actually the best person to handle that problem for them. And then any other thing that is of national character, and once in a while it pops up or is gradually becoming a permanent feature in the list of what problems of the country. These are things that they look at, and then they decide who should be giving the nod. But quite apart from all these things that I've said, they also look at what the vice president ticket, in other words, the running mate, who is going to partner the flag bearer. You see the material worth considering and all that. Because remember, in the event that whoever who wins the election becomes the president and he is unable to continue his tenure, then the vice president automatically steps in. So they want to look at that, discussion and see whether the person that you have put forward is also the man that can also support his president to deliver or to even lead the country whenever there is a situation that the president cannot continue. So it is a whole lot of complex issue that they look at. But the good news is that voters have what it takes to decide who at a point in time should lead them. And for me, that is the beauty, because then it is not done by way of influence and all that. I am alive to the fact that sometimes voters are persuaded with, monetary gains and the rest of them. But by and large, they are able to come out with their leaders. And more often than not, it is based on the choice that they really have over the years reflected on. And on the day of the election, that is exactly what they do.
All right. Dr. Santia, thank you very much for your time and for joining us. Always grateful.
Was grateful to you.
All right.
That's Dr. Santi joining us this morning with the stars here on the Morning Star. Time check. It's 25 minutes past 9. You're listening to Morning Star. We're live here in Accra on Star 103.5 FM. And I think there's every reason to be excited with all that we have experienced yesterday in Kumasi. Slow down, you look to see. Kumasi. They won by 4 goals to 3. Let's speak to the head of communications of the Ghana Football Association, the man Henry Asante-Chum. We call him Mr. Hart. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Francis.
How are you doing today? Bibi Abokolo Koda. I can imagine. But after all the fna, I guess there's that sense of relief and happiness that all the recce, all the plans, all the work has resulted in us winning 2 games since Otto's return. How are things in camp this morning, the morning after this hard-fought win?
Well, thank you very much, Francis. I left my room and did a door-to-door visitation a few minutes ago. Some of the players are awake, and there are some who are still in bed. Reflecting on what transpired yesterday, they look very calm. The most important thing is that the end goal is to make it to the next FIFA World Cup in Mexico, USA, and Canada. For some of these players, it would be their third time. For some, it would be their second. For some, it would be their first. So they've got different ambitions individually, but collectively, we have a common goal, and that common goal is to make it to the World Cup. I think it's been a long journey, even though we've been in camp for approximately 12 days. It's been a very long journey. You remember that defeat to Comoros last year changed things a bit after we had taken off with a 1-0 win over Madagascar at the Omayaras Sports Stadium. I think it took a new turn because Comoros, who were less fancied and not highly appreciated in the group, won their first 2 matches and led by 6 points going into these Windows games. So there was that apprehension among the players when we first assembled. Regardless of the quality in the team, sometimes when you don't win, it affects your confidence level. Sometimes you begin to have doubts about your competencies because the results are not forthcoming. But we put in the hard work. Some of us took the lead to Mali to look at the players, to put things in place. We finished that job with victory, a hard-earned victory over the Malians. And then yesterday we wrapped it up with another hard-fought, higher intensity, tough test against a rising Central African Republic team at the Omayaras Sports Stadium. So it couldn't have been any better. This morning the players are in a very good mood. Yesterday one was telling me in the lift that we should have allowed them to go for nightclub because they have given us the 6 points. That's what matters. But I think I am happy about their fighting spirits, their mentality, the fact that they believe it is possible, and in the end, we got the job done.
So now that the 2 games are done, I guess the camp is done. Camping is done. The players return to enjoy the holiday and then prepare for pre-season, yes?
Yes, that is the program, and they deserve the break. It's been a long season for some of them. Not the best of seasons for a player like Thomas, who struggled with injury, stayed off for about 4 months, came back not long before the end of the campaign. And I think he has led very well in these 2 games. And people only judge by what they see on the field when it comes to footballers. But those of us who are close to the team know what he contributes to our team, our players, the young boys, how he leads them, his composure, his calmness is something that I think we need to commend him for, especially in the absence of the substantive captain as far as these 2 games were concerned. And so this morning the program is that we have breakfast this morning, I think in the next hour or so, and then we will head to the airport, fly back to Accra, and once we arrive in Accra, the coach will address them and then call off the camp, and they will be on their own until their clubs start calling for pre-season.
Fantastic. I see the caveat you draw in terms of Partey's work he's done in leading the captaincy
of the team. Is the decision that Otto took relative to only these two matches, or it's a permanent decision that Andre will no longer be captain?
Well, I think it wouldn't have become an issue, first of all, if he had not come up during the squad naming press conference. About 3 years ago, we named 3 captains of the Black Stars because we knew that at some point, some of these players will not be present. Now, over the 3-4 year period, we've had players who have come in and out of the team. This is not the first time Thomas captained the team. The coach felt that as far as these 2 games were concerned, Andre wouldn't be in his squad, and so he needed a captain to lead the team in the absence of his substantive skipper. Now, among the 3 captains that we chose 3-4 years ago was Thomas. The first captain is Andre. The second captain is Richard Okpori. The third captain is Thomas Partey. Now, in the absence of these 2, Thomas had to take over. So it is a temporal situation. The coach is yet to officially communicate whether Andre is in his long-term plan or not. So until then, I think we just have to hold on, wait, and see how it goes.
Great. Jordan had a mini ceremony done for him before the game yesterday, marking his 100th cap and his contribution. In the post-match, he mentioned that for the most part of his career, both club and country, he's been played out of position, but he's always willing to give his best in every circumstance. Will everybody be right in saying that now that he's playing at the number 9 position and has brought out these performances with a hat-trick yesterday, it becomes a permanent berth for him, or it will be based on games and the opposition that we play?
Good point. It came up in the post-match after his response to the question, and the coach later took over the microphone and said that he decided to play him today. I think it got a bit funny when Jordan said, I didn't speak to the coach. I don't know why he put me there today. And then we all took a laugh at some point. But Francis, the most important thing is that sometimes it depends on who you are playing. And most of the time, when you've got options up front, you decide to play to your strength. Over the period under different managers, under Kwesi Appiah, under C.K. Akono, under Milo van Rijvaart, Chris Hilton, Otto Addo at some point, and now Otto again. I think that unfortunately, players who give options, different options, always find themselves in these kinds of situations. If you are a player who can play at left back, for instance, Tariq Lamptey, in the 2 games we played against Mali and Central African Republic, he was used as a right wing back. At Brighton, sometimes he plays as a right back. Sometimes he plays as a left back. Yesterday, when the coach decided to shuttle his attack by bringing on a player with speed, he brought him on as a number 7. So I think these things happen to players who give coaches different options. And when you are a player who can function in different positions, do it well, you always find yourself in situations like this. In the case of Jordan, when it is that the opponents have speedsters on the wings as fullbacks, and you want to put the brakes on them, he's the best choice because his defensive abilities is unparalleled. His back tracking, the aerial ability, the power to win the ball and dispossess the opponent. These factors or these points, or attributes, are not common with maybe the wingers that we have. Kamaldeen does not have the aerial ability. Atao does not have. Osman Bukhari lacks that. And so it depends on the opponent and how you want to set out, on the match day. And I think that in most occasions, the coaches prefer using him wide rather than playing him as a pin or a center forward. And he has contributed to Jordan's goal drought for a very, very, very long time. I remember his debut against Swaziland, where we won by 3-0 in 2010. Then his first goal against Lesotho in the 2014 FIFA World Cup qualifier, when he scored twice, as a center forward. But that was under a different manager. Now, he grew up as a center forward. Laurent, Marseille, Aston Villa, he was a center forward. Then his game changed a bit when he went to Swansea City. And once they started putting him on the wings, he was banging in the goals, he was able to backtrack, defend, win the area ball, stop the opponent from attacking, dispossess the opponent whenever they are pushing for forward. The coaches realized that he can function in that position. Another player, Francis, is Antoine Semenyo. Antoine is a proper center forward. He's a pin player. But at Bournemouth, in the course of the season, he started as a center forward, played alongside Dominic Solanke. At some point, they drifted him to the left side, but he ended the season on the right. And he got I think 7 goals also for Bournemouth this season. Yesterday when he came on, because Jordan was present, he started out wide on the left. Later, when Jordan was substituted, he drifted into the middle. He later moved to a number 10 position. So it depends on the game plan, what the coach wants to do at the given time, and also largely depending on the opponent.
You wanted Kumasi to support you yesterday. I'm told the stadium was bouncing at a point. What do you say to the fans in Kumasi this morning?
Magnificent atmosphere, unbelievable scenes at the Virus Sports. We've always called on them and they've always answered. Characteristic of the Kumasi fans, they were standing on their feet, singing and cheering the team, even when we were down by 2-1. The atmosphere was electric. I think you need to help me with the adjectives to describe the scenes at the Virus Sports Stadium yesterday. But we are very much grateful. We are forever thankful and we are appreciative of their support. They've always been loyal to the team. We played many games in the last few years since we moved from Cape Coast to Kumasi, and they have received us. They continually support us. They give us the backing at all times, and yesterday it was exceptional. The guys from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the Katanga boys, the Unity Hall guys, the guys from Oforiko, Mabuabu, Benyame, Ichamso, and Raga Junction, and all the places. They thronged the stadium in their numbers to give us the 12th man. In the end, it yielded the needed dividends, and then we cannot thank them enough. We appreciate them for the love they show the team every time. Yes, I think they have been had the difficult moments where things didn't go well and they ended up booing a particular player in one of the games. But it's one of those things. I think Kumasi fans have shown love over the years, and we want to thank them for their love, for their patronage. And Francis, it's not only the people of Kumasi. I saw buses at the outside when we were entering the stadium, and these are guys who rented buses from Accra. I also saw a car from Cape Coast and somewhere at Duai and Kwanta, also in the central region. I would also want to use this opportunity to thank His Honor Dr. Kwame Che, the President of Nations FC, former board chairman of Asante Kroko. He personally purchased 5,000 tickets and gave them out to to the funds. And then he also made available 5 buses at vantage points in Kumasi to ferry funds from those points to the Baba Yara Sports Stadium to witness the game. We appreciate him. We appreciate his effort. We appreciate Ghanaians for the love. And then we just want to believe that on the back of these 2 victories, we will go on and then ensure our qualification to yet another World Cup in 2026.
I remember when we went to the Nations Cup in Cote d'Ivoire, one of our interviews you said in your preparations, the pitch you trained on was amongst the best in class you would find. When the captain Thomas Partey addressed Dr. Baumia yesterday in the meeting before the game, some say he was literally begging that proper pitches be given to them for them to play matches. Was the team satisfied with the state of the Kumasi Sports Stadium or the Baba Yara Sports Stadium pitch that the game was played on? Because from what we saw on television, it was horrible.
I granted an interview, I think the day before we played against Mali, spoke about the state of pitches in Ghana and what we see when we travel outside for games, not in Europe, but in Africa. What we recently, the place we recently played our 2 games against Nigeria and Morocco is just a training pitch, and you should see the quality of the turf. The training pitches. Ivory Coast built 24 brand new training pitches for the Africa Cup of Nations. 24, top quality. When we went to Mali, those of us who went there early, we saw pitches in communities, pitches in small areas, pitches along high streets, places where kids were playing. And then on the final day, when the team got to the stadium to have their official training before the game, the coach walked up to me and said, "Henry, what do you make of the pitch?" I was reluctant in responding because I knew the follow-up question. And then I said, "Top quality." And his follow-up question was, "Can't we have at least one of these in Ghana?" I couldn't respond. The truth of the matter is that in the modern day football, you need quality pitches to play on. Some of these players come and they are unable to perform, and we insult them, we write about them, we speak ill of them on social media. You cannot play football on top pitches for 8 months, and when you find yourself playing the next day on a difficult pitch, you expect the person to perform. It is 50-50. That performance is not guaranteed. Ankle injuries, very, very prevalent. Hip injuries. Yesterday, but for the rain, I feared for hip injuries and back injuries. After 90 minutes, because the pitch looked hard. I understand the sprinklers and the water at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium was damaged 2 days before the game yesterday, and so there was no water. And when you speak like this, people say all manner of things. They say you should go and build your own pitch, but yes, we can only do enough as a football federation. The pitches in Ivory Coast was not built by the Football Federation of Ivory Coast. The pitch in Mali was state financed. So I think maybe it was a good opportunity for the captain himself to speak. Maybe some of us, when we speak, people do not want to know because they think we are not pitch or grass experts. But once the captain spoke on behalf of the team, I saw the vice president shaking his head. I pray it is taken in good faith. On our own, we have decided to construct one top pitch at Pram from the FIFA Forward 2.0 and 3.0. The project will start very soon. When we returned from Qatar, the government decided to give us $2.8 million for a legacy project at Pram, and then they specifically mentioned that it should go into construction of a hotel facility to house our players. So that project will also start very soon. But I think it should be a concerted effort. We need all the stakeholders to come together. The hybrid pitch system is what has taken over. The planting of grass system is long gone, and so we need to find people with the right skill. Yes, and let me also mention that sometimes I feel sorry for someone like Frank Boyne, who has the know-how, who has the competence, who has the knowledge, but unfortunately he faces many challenges, and that is the reason why.
Is it the same man who is the face of the green grass technologies?
Yes. Okay, so Francis, let me give you this scenario. Today we have a new stadium at Takwa, the TNA Stadium, owned by the mining company. Now Frank constructed that pitch. Once he constructed the pitch, he's been given 3 months to hand over. Francis, in was it 2019? I was the MC for the opening ceremony of the Cape Coast Stadium. That was during the time of Honorable Nila Vandapoy, I think. Today, the Cape Coast Stadium is unplayable. That Cape Coast Stadium was done by the Chinese. It is a hybrid pitch. Today, it is unplayable. You cannot host an international game at that facility, which is why we moved our games to Kumasi. And even at Babayara, every time when there is a game, we need to write to CAF, we need to write to FIFA, we are always begging and all that. So I am glad that the captain spoke to the issue, and I pray it is taken in good faith. I pray that our leaders start to attend to that particular important and sensitive area in our football industry.
Should we be overly excited that 2 wins on the bounce for Otto, everything is going to be kosher, or there is a lot of work to do?
Let's be cautious. Let's be calm. I want us to be cautiously optimistic. This is exactly what we wanted which is why we employed him. He has started on a very good note, but it does not mean we should be overly optimistic, or we should be overly confident as regards the remaining matches. I think that we admit there are issues. Yesterday we conceded 3 goals against Central African Republic. The other day against Mali, we showed character. We won by 2 goals to 1. Some defensive frailties have to be worked on. Some midfield issues need to be fixed. And then also, yes, I don't remember the last time we scored 4 goals in a single game. I don't remember the last time we scored 6 goals in 2 games. It's not happened in a very, very long time, you know. Yes, we've scored 6 goals in 2 games, but we've also conceded 4 goals in 2 games. So it means there are issues in every, sphere of the team. There are issues. Otto is here on a long-term basis. In the course of this journey, there will be wins, there will be defeats, there will be disappointments, there will be ouch, there will be pain, and all that. But in all of these, we are committed to, the project, the long-term project. We are committed to ensuring that he receives all the support that is due from the FA to the ministry to the leadership of the state. We are committed to it. And so let's be calm as we soldier on. Let's take it easy. We take it one game at a time. We take it one competition at a time. Luckily for us, we have a long, exciting journey ahead of us. An exciting journey full of promise. These young players are buzzing, ready to go, and we want to and do the right thing. Put them together, get more games, as many as possible, friendly matches, and then once we are able to do this, I think that our long-term good looks very positive.
Will be given. Okay. Before I let you go, number 2 came with $500,000 cedis. Is that a winning bonus or that separate?
Well, number two's visit came unannounced. You know, we were in their bedrooms when they called that number 2 has decided to visit us. But I think we also have to thank him for that visit. At least we had the opportunity to speak directly to power. So we are grateful to His Excellency, Dr. Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia, the Vice President, and his entourage who paid a call on us yesterday. So I think it is something he came up with out of the blue. He decided to donate an amount of 500,000 cedis to the team as a token. That is from his pocket. And so maybe the players will enjoy a double kitty. They have a bonus to take for Mali. They have a bonus to take for yesterday's game.
How much? How much is the bonus?
It hasn't been reviewed. It's still
$5,000 or CD?
$5,000.
$5,000. So that's $10 each.
Yes, for those who were in
All right. Okay. Henry, thank you so much for your time this morning. Good job done with the team in preparations. I know how much work you've had to put in with a team in preparations. You see, that's the part that nobody sees. Oh, Masama Matasi. The job is the job. I get it.
Yeah, a lot of things go behind the scenes. For instance, I haven't slept fully for the past 3 days. You have to work on a lot of things, you know, media issues. The away team have to receive the best of treatment in terms of hospitality, security issues, protocol issues, flight issues, hotel accommodation. A lot of things happen behind the scenes. But I think you're only judged by what people see, you know. But we work a lot. And once again, let me say thank you to the media for helping us to publicize this game. And we are eternally grateful. We pray and we hope and pray that this winning trend continues so that we will all make it to USA, Mexico, Canada in 2020.
I'm on fire, word rough.
Indeed, I will see Park another. And I will grab placard and I show USA. What chance the man Jonah in the super but I mean it's all good. Sometimes when we lose, you know, sometimes some of us have to check our blood pressure when we lose matches. I remember we came back from the AFCON in January, late January, and I stayed indoors for 4 days without stepping out. 4 days, you know. And so we've been through hard times. So when the good times come, we have to enjoy small.
Enjoyment. See, as for the enjoyment, I'll leave it to you. I know that, Charlie. You go enjoy. Tick. Thank you, brother, for your time.
My pleasure.
I'll be in touch. Have a good one, brother.
Henry Asante Chum, Head of Communications for the Ghana Football Association, joining us this morning. On that note, we say thank you to all of you for connecting with us here on the show. News already comes your way at 10, after which the Zone is live and airborne with Natalia and Master J. Hey, people, have a lovely day. Cheers, I'm out.